sleep relaxation. So go on there. Thank you for everyone who liked the video. I got a lot of positive feedback and support, so I appreciate hearing that. So yes, I'm excited. Alright, and make sure you also check out all my services, TonyBomboni.com. The links are in the top of the description box below, and the top pin comment below. Okay, so let us begin. So basically, you have 7 major chakras: the root, which is at the base of the spine; the sacral, which is kind of typically 2 inches below the navel, the belly button; the solar plexus, about 2 inches above the belly button, about 2 inches below the heart. Then you have the heart, of course, the heart; the throat, third eye, kind of between the eyebrows, and the crown, kind of above the head there. Okay, you have points above the head. You have several chakra points above the head, actually, but we're talking about the major chakra points now. So in Sanskrit, that word chakra relates to a wheel or a disc that is like spinning, right? Just like a wheel does. Anytime anyone doing yoga, meditation, they refer to it as the main energy center in your physical vessel. So basically the chakras are actually stacked along your spine, so that's kind of how it works, okay? But sometimes I like to visualize them in the front of the body, because it's hard to visualize things behind you, do you know? But anyway, so each chakra basically responds and corresponds rather to the major organs of the body, any nerve bundles in your body. Like some chakras represent your arms, your legs, feet and toes, hands and fingertips, and states of being, spiritual and emotional being as well. So, if one chakra is misaligned, imbalanced, you're going to feel that in different parts of your body. So I'm actually going to show you these flags here that portray each chakra, and we can do affirmations as I go along, and you read each chakra, okay? So root chakra is called the Muladhara chakra, Muladhara, Muladhara, the Muladhara chakra. So it's your tailbone, like I said, it's represented by the color of red, okay? And it's about your grounding, your survival, your stability overall, okay? The basics, think the foundation, it's the bottom, it's the below, like there's like a top floor of a hotel and a bottom floor. This is like the bottom floor. Without that though, everything falls apart. Nothing can hold or survive or last. So, so if it is working well and open, you will feel safe, confidence, security. You won't feel like you're in danger or too much fear. A lot of people who are a lot of fear, stress, anxiety will feel a lot of disbalance in that region of the body. It gives you the confidence to handle anything that comes through in your life, basically. Yeah, so if you're blocked, you could also feel like instability overall, so just like a building without a steady foundation will kind of sway like that until it crumbles, right? So definitely each chakra, the more you work at it, the better you get at working at it, and you want to make sure that this is solid first before you move on to the higher chakras. They say you really shouldn't work on the crown if your sacral is messed up, you know what I mean? You got to work your way down to up and then back down again. It's like a meditative advanced thing, but I won't go into too much details with that today. But here is the first flag that tells you just kind of like a lotus petal, how it's closed, I am safe. I am safe. I trust more. I fear less. I trust more. I fear less. I am centered and grounded. I am centered and grounded. I am safe. I trust more. I fear less. I am centered base tip of your spine at this time. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. And we're going to move on to the orange chakra, the sacral, which again, about 2 inches below the belly button, depends who you are. Maybe about 2 inches above the root. Give each about 2 inches or so. That's going to be approximately, the chakras, anywhere from the throat to the root. Each are about, maybe on average, I would say probably 2 inches apart. Safe to say. Okay, so the sacral chakra is also called the Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana. I have my notes in front of me, that's why I'm looking down slightly. The Svadhisthana chakra. And yeah, it's just below the belly button, like I said. So it's your center of creativity. If you're feeling frustrated in that region, blocked in your creativity, just feel that now. What do you feel there? Maybe you have, sometimes it can be for some, the intestinal region upset, or it can be a lot of that sexual energy as well, and your sexuality in general. So if you're having confusion, again, it's the lower three, root, sacral, and solar plexus, which is the next one I'm going to discuss, is the basics, the lower vibration, the ones that are foundational for your life, just like the food pyramid, or Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You gotta start with the basics first before your other needs, spiritually and higher dimensionally, can be met. So, this is one of the chakras I struggle with the most. This is also the place of your emotional intelligence as well. So, you wouldn't think something down there in your gut would be triggering you emotion, but it is. When you cry, that's what your stomach hurts after. It's all connected. Your bodies are an advanced mechanism. So basically, this governs how you relate to other people emotionally, including with yourself. So if you struggle to connect with others in that department, this could mean an imbalance in that area. If you are balanced, you will find pleasure and passion and joy in life, and you're going to be very artistically creative and express yourself artistically overall in many ways. If you're blocked, obviously you're going to be blocked creatively. You're going to be afraid of change in your life. You're going to be, uncertain. You're going to have mood swings up and down, very volatile in your emotions and behavior. So that's a good one to work on as well. Very, very important for your overall life. And I would say probably your happiness as well, but the next one's more about happiness. I'll go into it soon. But here, again, the color orange. So this lotus petal is opening up a little more, right? And each chakra spins faster the higher you go. So the root spins the slowest, the crown spins the fastest and has the most petals. The crown has 1,000 petals. I believe the root only has 3 petals. So they're portrayed by petals, energy, petals, like a fan, how a fan spins, those pinwheels outside. That's what I'm talking about. So the more petals, the faster it spins. It's portraying that high vibration, infinite light frequency. So I feel my emotions and my pain. I feel my emotions and my pain. I reawaken my passion. I reawaken my passion. I surrender to this moment. I surrender to this moment. And again, feel that orange light glowing there as you affirm this truth. I feel my emotions and my pain. I reawaken my passion. I surrender to this moment. So I guess it allows you in a way to be more present with yourself as well. Okay, so moving on. To the solar plexus chakra now. It is also called the Manipura Manipura, that's my favorite word for some reason in the chakras. Manipura, Manipura, Manipura. Sounds like manipulating. But anyway, it is your upper abdominal region, or your stomach. You know, people think their stomach is where their belly button is. No, it's actually like right below your upper chest, like right below the kind of the nipple area. It's right there, literally. It's like tucked under your rib cage, pretty much. I mean, it's like in there, like in the rib cage. You know what I mean? Like tucked in there. So it's in a weird area. You wouldn't think, you know, because people say my stomach hurts, they really mean their intestines. But I guess your stomach could hurt too. But that's not a good thing if it does. So it is the color of yellow, okay? And it's your self-esteem. Again, it's also your confidence, just like with the sacral as well, in a way. And it is also, it's most commonly known as your personal powerhouse chakra, okay? You know, when people say claim your power back, take your power back, they're talking about that solar plexus. And I love the name solar plexus because it's channeling the sunlight, the energy of the sun, right? The positivity, the joy, the happiness, which confidence can bring a lot of people. And, you know, happy people are more, happier people have, you know, more higher self-esteem, you know, typically. So it's like your inner fire, right? That's kind of what this chakra represents. It also kind of, in a way, in a sense, controls that inner sense of willpower. You know, what are you fighting for? What are you dreaming for, right? What are you moving towards in your life? Where your energy goes, it flows, right? So this is your sense, your powerhouse, where it's like all that energy going to something and you achieving and accomplishing it. And that also gives you that sense of self-worth as well. So it's also the place of self-worth where you know you're able to accomplish a lot in your life and go for your big dreams if you have them. Not everyone does, and doesn't mean you have to necessarily have them. But the more open and expansive this chakra is, the more you probably are on that frequency. If it's open, you feel in control of your life, your destiny, your choices, your decisions. You feel motivation. You can get out of bed easily in the morning, and you know, you can just start your day, and you feel that courage that, you know, I got this, I can do this. And you're going to feel the energy too. You're going to feel like a boost of energy, like as if the sun gave you a lot of energy or something like that. Just how the sun has like all that, you know, millions of degrees of energy, and it doesn't burn out for billions of years. That's kind of the energy you're channeling. But however, if the solar plexus is in its blocked state or weaker, you might really struggle with overall your decisions. You might be kind of like control freak type person. You might really get on people's nerves. You know, your energy vibration might be lower. You know, you might even agitate yourself, I would say. And again, the low self-esteem. So here it is. We have an even open, bigger chakra now. I am courageous. I am courageous. I am whole. I am whole. I stand in my power. I stand in my power. I am courageous. I am whole. I stand in my power. Okay, so the heart chakra is the anahata chakra. Okay, it's obviously at the center of your chest in the heart region. Okay, and it's actually just above the heart, actually, but it's there. You know, anytime you would like to connect with a chakra, of course, put your hand over that part of your body. I know it's hard to put your hand back there sometimes, and like the base of your spine is a little weird, awkward, uncomfortable spot to do. For some people, it may make them uncomfortable. also, you can have a professional practitioner do this on you if you want energy healing work. I do that on my website as well, virtually, but nonetheless, energy goes where it flows. I set the intention and visualize channeling this energy to your way, so it works the same, okay? But, like your heart is easy. Everyone was basically programmed early on, at least in the United States, to every morning at school put their hand over their heart, and there's a subconscious reason for that. It's actually good for you in some way, it opens the heart when you do that, okay? So this actually represents love. It also represents inner peace, okay, which not everyone's aware, but obviously love is pretty obvious. Heart is always represented by love. Valentine's Day, it's also compassion, feeling empathy, deep sense of even, I would say, remorse for other people. So if you struggle with that, you're probably blocked in your heart chakra, which a lot of people are, more than we may be realizing. A lot of people's hearts become closed with time. And it's also something that a lot of people don't know, is that the heart is actually a bridge between the lower three and the upper three chakras: the throat, third eye, crown. Upper three, root to sacral, solar, the lower three. So the heart is the center of that. So this is where the higher vibration starts, is in the heart. And love is at a very high frequency. So the lower three are associated with the physicality of your life. The upper is associated with the spiritual. Okay, so the bridge between the two is important. That's why if someone, I know this sounds horrible, I'm sorry, but if someone, gets horribly injured, let's say, in the heart, they pass away, because without that bridge, there's nothing, you can't sustain life. So, the heart governs the ability to give love and to be able to receive love. And really, I'm talking like receive it. Like anyone could just say, I love you. But if you don't receive that, if you don't feel like you deserve it, or, that's also a blockage in that heart as well. You may struggle to open up to others. You may be too shy or anxious of others. You may harbor even a sort of angst or resentment to other people as well, if this place of your chakras is blocked or closed off, more. You may also struggle, of course, with being empathic to, people who are diagnosed sociopaths. They may be the ones who are coming into this incarnation with an intentionally closed off heart. That's part of their soul plan here, live your life with a closed off heart, see how you fare. So they're just here to learn the struggle of that, how it's like to have a closed off heart. We can only pray they have an open heart in the next life, or they've already had one, hopefully. So their soul can learn on a deeper level, because that's what it's all about, We are not a diagnosis. So, okay. So, I am loved. I let love in. I am loved. And I let love in. So now we have an even more open lotus. I am kind to myself. I am kind to myself. I live in peace and gratitude. I live in peace and gratitude. I am loved. I let love in. I am kind to myself. I live in peace and gratitude. So, I believe the next one is, here it is, the flag. I was looking for it. The throat chakra. So basically it's right here. It's not really here. It's usually even right there, that little hole there that we all have. The chokehold, as they call it. So it's Vishuddha, V-I-S-H-U-D-D-A, D-D-H-A, sorry, V-I-S-H-U-D-D-H-A, Vishuddha. I apologize if I butcher it. The Anahata was A-N-A-H-A-T-A, Anahata. That was the throat, but the Vishuddha say violet then white. Some people say violet then purple. I don't think anyone really knows. I think that just represents our struggle to understand the higher realms. So it goes beyond color, because we only see a limited arrangement of color. Color. But it's basically your communication. Obviously, you speak from the throat, your vocal cords in there. So if there's damage to any physical part of that, that could be a throat chakra issue. Ailments in the throat, constant chronic cough, cold, like upper head respiratory, like that's the throat. A lot of that can be like mucus, that can be a clog, block throat. I think a lot of people tend to have that issue, but now as we're reaching the throat, we're reaching the higher realms now. So this is why so many people have upper issues here, from the brain to the throat to the heart, because we're struggling again in this physical dense body, in this physical dense earth and realm, to really understand the higher reaches, and so that can show up physically in our body as well, especially if we're not used to a certain vibration. So I truly believe that's why there's so many ailments going around nowadays, is because of this ascension, and people are not used to receiving these energies. This is also your center of truth, like speaking your truth. What is true to you? What do you feel is truth? Also the way you express yourself, your personality, like maybe even how you come across, perhaps. So if you struggle speaking up, this is a blockage there. You can listen deeply if you are not blocked in that region, and you can express your thoughts with honesty. You can speak from the heart. That's why the heart and throat are connected, okay? If you struggle with letting words out, you're stuttering, you're having difficulty expressing truly what you mean, and others don't understand you, that's a throat issue as well, believe it or not. I think that's very common. If you speak without thinking first as well, because again, throat is connected to your third eye as well, your brain, right? So that's also, throat is so important. It's the center of, it's its own mini bridge as well, right? It's the center of the bridge, and your thoughts, which you can be in your thoughts a lot. So it's so important to balance your throat before you ascend to the higher chakras. I play in my imagination. I create my reality. I know and share my truth. Now the lotus is starting to really open up. I play in my imagination. I create my reality. I know and share my truth. So, now we're moving on. I'll say violet. No. I'm sorry. I'll say navy blue or indigo for this next one. There's a little confusion there. So I'll say indigo, and then I'll say violet. So indigo for the third eye. It's the some say anja. It's Ajna. Ajna. It's between your eyes on your forehead right there. It's presented by the color indigo, and it represents your wisdom, right? Your mind, your thoughts, your intuition as well, and also your creative, like, imagination, like out there far-fetched fantasy stuff, like your inner child out to play. That's this chakra here. It's also responsible for your gut feelings. So this is connected to your gut, believe it or not, and your ability to see overall the bird's eye view, the bigger picture of your reality and reality around you. You're usually more psychic, clairvoyant, intuitive, and you're clear in your mind and thoughts when this is open. But if it's blocked off, you feel that disconnection. You can't channel, you can't really trust your gut. You feel like, what is even trusting my gut? That confusion. You might even get like more sarcastic or cynical with others. If this is blocked off, you might even be overwhelmed by overthinking. Too much in the head. Sorry, I don't want to sneeze. Too much in, not too much in the heart, I don't don't think we want to be foolish and be too much in the heart either. You know what I'm saying? That's why your mind exists, to balance it out. But yeah, that's the third eye. It's a hard one for a lot of folk. And there's, of course, beautiful crystals, healing crystals you can use for all of these. My favorite for the third eye is lapis lazuli. Also matches perfectly to this color. I honor my intuition. I honor my intuition. Now it's fully open, about to pop a flower. I accept my path. I accept my path. I am healing body, mind, and spirit. I am healing body, mind, and spirit. I honor my intuition. I accept my path. I am healing body, mind, and spirit. And then we're finally moving on to the last chakra, which is the crown. Okay. And we'll say it's violet or white. A lot of people say violet or white for this one. Violet's like a very bold purple-ish, like a pinkish purple-ish, reddish purple-ish. So the crown chakra is the Sahasrara, or the Sahasrara. Sahasrara. And it's the very top of your head. Okay? Some spiritual practitioners say it's actually above your head. You can go up to 5 feet above. I don't know. That might be woo-woo out there stuff. Who knows? But this is your spiritual connection, you know. If this is blocked, you can't really open that. Your overall consciousness of your whole existence is represented by this chakra. Your life path and purpose. You know, you struggle to open up to your spiritual Akashic records. It's just the library, the spiritual library of knowledge you can access anytime, from any place, anywhere. Basically, just tap in, and then you'll see what your life plan is all about. You have guides that will tell you. You have your council members that will tell you what it is you're here to do, right? Especially if you're a starseed type person or personality, you will, you know, have a deeper level of knowing about this. I first opened up to, you know, the Akashic records, deeper sense of spirituality in 2019, and I've never looked back. So that was part of my ascension, you know. I wasn't aware of this stuff before 2019, and I think a lot of people, like 2019, 2020, that was the breaking cusp, the breaking point, where a lot of people, you know, haven't looked back since. It's your highest chakra overall. It's a connection to yourself overall. You know, when you look in the mirror, do you recognize yourself? If not, that's probably a crown issue. It's a connection to other people and the universe, your overall consciousness. Not just your own consciousness, but consciousness in general. You connected to everything and everyone else around you all at the same time. Past, present, future, all at the same time. The overall divine. You know, that's true consciousness, connectivity. And it's hardly ever fully open. If you are, you're probably going to be too dizzy, because we're in a physical dense body, physical dense reality again, physical dense realm. But if you work on this actively daily, I would say it will give you that deeper sense of peace and truer peace than fall, you know, like, you know, I'm just going to be honest, like, I don't mean to sound this way, but some people say they feel peace. But, you know, a true sense of peace is really, really hard for any of us, you know, to fully claim. And I think that's why, you know, even the Buddha warned us, like, life is suffering, right? It is surely difficult to achieve that higher consciousness, higher level ascension, you know, but we actively work every day to get there. And I think that's truly what the Bible talks about when they represent that heaven is a narrow path. They're trying to say it's hard to fully tap in and access, you know, the God beyond the beyond, right? There's the God we all actively believe in collectively in our collective human conscious existence. Then there's the God beyond the beyond that we don't understand, but it's all connected, right? It's thin, narrow. Like, imagine like compressing and squeezing your body through a little noodle, like going through a black hole, right? It squeezes you through a neat little noodle funnel. That's hard, and that's how narrow the path is. It's like throwing dart through that narrow noodle. You're not going to reach the other side. You won't understand it, because we're in this physical incarnation to not understand it. We've come here so that we can see what it's like not to understand, not to know, not to see the other side. So we figure it out on our own. You see what I'm saying? And that strengthens your soul when you come here and you're confused and you're on the other side and you're trapped here and you have to go through that pain, that suffering, so that you can realize, this is what the other side looks like, the polarity of this universe, where everything is not just peace and love. Like when we pass away, our soul goes back to that peace and love, unity, everything makes sense, everything's one consciousness. And so this way it's so difficult to connect with your guides at times, is because of that narrow noodle, I like to call it, of understanding. It doesn't mean we're dumb. It just means we're living a human existence, and it's perfectly healthy, natural, and normal. Yeah, a lot of times people who are too open, they look like crazy people to others. They look like they need to be institutionalized. They're talking nonsensical. But actually, if you tap in it, a lot of what they're saying makes sense. Like people who look batshit to some people, they're literally talking about their guides and their council members, and they're talking about the ascension. But it looks crazy to other people who are not in that noodle. Do you know what I'm saying? So have compassion for those who appear great. They're not actually crazy. They're just very open and tapped in. Especially people who go manic, they start to make a lot of sense if you really think about it. Just give them love and light. This is good for enlightenment as well. Okay. So, just what I've been discussing, and understanding your place in this whole reality. Everything will make sense and feel like love and light when this is open. So overall, the goal for all your energy centers is to be open. Doesn't have to mean at all times. We're not perfect. We're not, extremely angelic. Like it's impossible here in this reality. I just feel like if you ever get to that point, you would just vanish. You would enter the other dimensions like that, because the frequency can't hold and support that energy, and others cannot see you if you are too high dimensional. Like you almost avoid bad instances as well. If you're vibrating on that higher of a plane, you almost sort of disappear from others' reality, so it's hard to constantly hold that high of a state. You stumble your toe, you just said the curse word. Do you know what I'm saying? It's almost impossible. So be kind to yourself. You're not going to be able to fully do it all the time, every day. You can't even expect yourself to be happy all the time, to be joyous, uplifted, laughter, fun, play. Life is not like that. Again, you're here to experience the opposition of that, okay? But also experience that from time to time, of course. So if you have a block or overactivity, if it's too, like one time I had in a regression, I realized I was too high vibrational in my solar plexus, because I thought I had to have it really high vibrational. I didn't know any better, and it caused me a lot of reflux issues for my stomach. So that you have to realize something as beautiful as the solar plexus still has to be a little lower vibrational than your third eye, for example, right? So don't overdo any even chakra meditations or healing in a specific region unless you intuitively feel you need it. So it has to be a fine line, not too much, not too little, just right, like the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? And if it does end up too weak or too strong, it creates a ripple effect, like a chain link effect to the other chakras. They feel it and realize that something's wrong, something's off, and that will cause damage or harm in other chakras as well. It's not permanent. It just will take effort to go back and readjust, and that's why I say energy practitioners will be able to realign your chakra system as it needs to. Just like I tell people all the time, I highly recommend a monthly Reiki healing, even a weekly if you're having a lot of health issues, because it's like going for an oil change to tune up your car or service your car, right? It's the same thing. Why would you spend all this money servicing your vehicle, but you're not servicing your own vehicle, your own physical vessel? And then people wonder why they have so much issues, right, in their life. Not just health, but it's showing up as issues in their life, in their experiences with others. Imagine one person with a wonderfully balanced heart chakra communicating with a person who is maybe having too much energy in their heart chakra. The person with the balance may perceive the too much energy heart as chaotic, hectic, easily agitated, draining even, right? So the beautiful thing about connecting with other human beings in your circle is that a lot of times even surrounding yourself with people who are well balanced, grounded, breathing slowly and deeply, calm, remaining calm even in stressful situations and traffic, that calm individual, that well-rounded, balanced soul is able to balance the other person. It works better with the heart more than anything, because our heart creates a field of energy around our bodies. And it's even backed and proven by science that actually it emanates out, usually on average, anywhere from 5 feet. It can even expand miles outward if you are a special gifted being. A lot of times, if you come across people with severe autism, severe disabilities, where they're kept bound in a wheelchair, unfortunately, a lot of those souls are here actually to send us light and a deep understanding and compassion and empathy. When you see someone in that case, you feel immediately sorry for them. You feel just a deep love, like you wish they weren't in that situation. You wish they could walk you, so they're here to give us that deep love that we can't comprehend. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot, right? So, even being around people, certain people who are drawn to help those dear souls are maybe drawn to that for a reason, because they feel they need more of that balance in their heart, for example. It doesn't always have to be the case, of course, but just surrounding yourself with light beings in general is always good to recharge, and other people in general, so we're here. We naturally heal each other. We naturally give each other energy, right? So in 2020, when everyone was distanced and separated, that was not good. Everyone, was more than the 5 foot apart, and so everyone's disconnected from their hearts. That was not good. That was not a good time. And that, I'm sorry to say that I know as a society we collectively agreed on it and had our reasons, but again, we had to experience the opposition, I feel, right? I feel deep down we've had to experience what not being around loved ones feels like, so that we can come even closer together and realize we actually need to be together and love and hug, and so I think it's for a higher reason. Sometimes we have to disconnect to reconnect, and I think overall that was why that had to unfold. On a deep down scale, I connect with spirit. So here we have the beautifully blossomed lotus with the flowers coming through. Yeah, I connect with spirit. This is the crown, like I said. I invited sacred transformation. I embrace the unity of all beings. Beautiful. I connect with spirit. I invited sacred transformation. I embrace the unity of all beings. So that is all wonderful. I feel like intuitively just like reading all of them. Excuse me, one more time. I need a glass of water after this. I don't realize how much talking I end up doing. I'm like, only 2 pages of information, and then it ends up 45 minutes. Lord have mercy. I am safe. I trust more. I fear less. I am centered and grounded. I feel my emotions and my pain. I reawaken my passion. I surrender to this moment. It's hard to move these cloths because it's actually a flag. It's like a string of flags, kind of Tibetan style, like how you see in Mount Everest. So I have to flip them and make sure they're not being pulled apart. I am courageous. I am whole. I stand in my power. Okay. I feel like I'm doing another color analysis video. I am loved. I let love in. I am kind to myself. I live in peace and gratitude. Here we go. I play in my imagination. I create my reality. I know and share my truth. I honor my intuition. I accept my path. I am healing body, mind, and spirit. I connect with spirit. I invited sacred transformation. I embrace the unity of all beings. God bless you all. Love and light your way. And if you have enjoyed my session today, check me out on the TonyBomboni.com website. And I will see you all very shortly. Make sure to sign up for my Patreon, my Cameo, and my bookings. I have online courses as well, all on there, TonyBomboni.com.